Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Half-Bred Chaos reaction. So, this is, why does Kris have a save file in Deltarune? Which, again, that is one of those weird things that, you don't really think about on a first playthrough. Yeah, when you start playing, you override Kris's save file in the Dark World. But, that being aside, this was a request I got from Lime251. And again, it's like, I so much enjoy, Half-Bred Chaos' videos, but they put out so many of them. I mean, if it wasn't for people telling me to watch specific ones, I would have no idea where to start or which ones to see. So, I mean, here we are. Again, this video was made a year ago, so in the meantime, most recently, it was revealed that in, chapter 4, I believe, when it's released, we are going to have the ability to save in the light world, because apparently one of the beta testers for chapter 4 said that the regular players were going to hate not being able to save in the light world after you leave the dark world. So something big, or at least a lot of things, are going to be happening in the light world in chapter 4. So we're definitely gonna have to see what's happening there. But yeah, with all that out of the way, we should probably get this thing started then. So yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video link to my Let's Play of the day. And yeah, if you like this video or any other video I've made, I would very much appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribe to my channel, because, all those little things help my channel and the algorithm, and I'm very much hoping to hit 5,000 subscribers, sometime this year, hopefully. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we? Instant noodles.
Did you know that Kris has a save file? Kris's save file appears the very first time you save the game, and it's a little odd, because in Undertale, the save file was empty by default. At first, I figured this just meant that Kris had been to the Dark World before, which would make sense if you imagine that going to the Dark World is a little bit like playing a game with your friends, until I realized that when you start Chapter 2, Kris has a save file here, too. This isn't just something that occurs on a blank save file either. This is how it looks when I've loaded in from my Chapter 1 save data. Does that mean Kris, somehow, saved the game between chapters? But the closet was locked at the end of Chapter 1, so how did they find a save point? Unless, can Kris save in the light world? Let's use debug mode and try it out, just to see what happens. Oh wow, that is interesting. When you save in the dark world, it uses the player's name, but saving in the light world will always use Kris's name.
Okay. I wonder if that will come into play during Chapter 4 again, with the potential ability to save during then. Okay.
I wonder if this is intentional. The king does call Kris Lightbringer, after all. It may be that Kris has more power over the save file while they're in the light world. This would also explain why Kris is able to remove their soul there and make choices without us.
Yeah.
Perhaps Kris is stronger in the light, while we are stronger in the dark. That said, I must admit, while the game does have a script specifically for saving in the light world, if you do this in Chapter 2, the script gets kinda buggy. You can also start Chapter 2 without any save data at all, which will prompt the game to provide a pre-made save file for you, and it's interesting, because it seems like the default choices might actually be the sort of choices Kris would go for. Their favorite color is red, the color of their soul.
Okay.
Favorite flavor is sweets, when we know Kris likes chocolates, pies, cakes, and apples.
Makes sense.
And, most oddly, when they choose to give the vessel a gift, they actually choose mind, the second option, instead of the first option of kindness. Notably, a lot of the other options here are things Kris seems to lack, such as a voice and ambition, which checks out with the portrait the overworld paints of Kris before the player shows up. But what's even more interesting is your equipment. In general, it seems like the player of this save file makes a straight beeline for the exit, so they don't help or talk to any of the NPCs along the way. This actually does seem to be in line with Kris's typical behavior, as speaking with Noelle in the light world will reveal that Kris isn't a very social person and doesn't often interact with others.
Okay, I wonder. Because I was going to say something. It's like, oh, when I first played Chapter 2, I think I just beeline straight to home without talking to anybody, which, I mean, looking back, sucked. But at the same time, the idea that you could potentially... Oh, wait a second. I just thought of something. Wouldn't it be funny? So I was talking before in, like, previous... reaction, my ongoing theory about how, like, future chapters and, like, different paths will work out is that you have the normal route that you play on just by, you know, playing normally, sparing everybody, you know, all that good stuff, and then starting in Chapter 2, you get the weird route, and then in Chapter 3, the weird route splits into the normal weird route, which would be you just doing weird stuff and not interacting with the story, you know, normally. Which, again, I've theorized would be in Chapter 3, given that Toriel's going to be there, and her being an overprotective parent would potentially lead to, you know, her keeping Kris safe and running away from, like, every enemy encounter possible. And then a violent weird route, which, again, maybe with Toriel being there, it would result in her burning everyone, given her, you know, fire magic. And, like, my whole theory was, with the last reaction I did to Half-Bred Chaos's, like how many chapters were there going to be video. Maybe you unlock different chapters past 5 or 7 or wherever the regular route's going to be based on what choices you make in those other 2 routes. Now, what I just thought of, like, if seemingly, like, the player in these other chapters, when you skip them, just does straight beeline, very vanilla and stuff like that, can you imagine if you unlock different endings or do different chapters based on, like, which chapter you start from? Like, I don't know how it would be different, like, or how things would play out there, but that would be really weird, wouldn't it? Like, oh my god, there are 10 chapters, but you only unlock chapters 8, 9, and 10 if you start from chapter 5, or something like that. Like, it'd be really weird.
But for some reason, despite having no items, no weapons, and nothing from the shops except for the basic amber cards, Kris did pick up the white ribbon and equipped it to Rousey. That, or Rousey went back for it. I'm not sure which is harder to believe, given the mixed messages Kris gives regarding Rousey. It is very odd, though, since the white ribbon certainly isn't a key item, and the player could easily miss it or sell it on accident as they get better gear. So why pick up this one, of all things? I know I've theorized that this ribbon probably belonged to Des, or at the very least Noelle, but the dice brace also seems to be giving the player a hint about that plotline, and the iron shackles are right there. Really, Kris?
Yeah?
Actually, you know what's more weird than Kris having a save file? Kris having 3 save files. That's right. If you start up Chapter 2 with no data of any sort, either from Chapter 1 or Chapter 2, then instead of saving into a new file, you get to choose which of Kris's 3 saves you want to overwrite. Strangely, once you've done this, the other 2 files blank out as well. Almost like, gasp. What if Toby needs the player to overwrite Kris's save file? What if this is a plot point later, like at the end of Undertale, when it says, you try to reach your save file, and Toby has to rewrite that entire cutscene if you haven't saved the game before that point. We know this isn't just because Toby lacks a placeholder script to put here either, as erasing a save file actually erases Kris's saves too, changing the names in both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 from Kris to empty. He didn't just import this script either. He wrote this out separately for both chapters to make sure that Kris would always have a save file until you erase it. Why would Toby put so much extra attention into such an obscure detail here, if it wasn't leading up to something? I believe Kris can save in the light world at will. I believe they saved once before the game even started, during the inaccessible Chapter 0, and then once again, between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And, I believe all this extra attention to detail was, at the very least, foreshadowing for that revelation. But if that's the case, this still leaves us with one mystery. When you begin Chapter 2, from a Chapter 1 save file, it says that your name is Kris, since Chapter 1, or whatever chapter you happen to actually start on.
Yeah?
But, that raises a few questions. Does this mean that Kris was not Kris before we showed up? Or, is this telling us that we, the player, have been Kris since Chapter 1? The variable for this is named Kris Preservation Society. But, is it actually somehow preserving Kris? Or, is this just a joke name?
Actually, okay, so thinking about it. So, just yesterday, at the time of recording, I did a stream of Deltarune Hypothesis. It's a fan game where it's basically like you're at a computer and you're loading up like different realities or different like scenarios and you're playing through them and stuff like that. And one of them was Kris going into, the bunker at the south of town. And in the bunker, Kris takes out the soul and we have a chat with them, basically, and it's really sad. And Kris goes on about how, like, what sucks more about about us taking over their life is the fact that we're making their lives better, like making friends and like mending relationships and stuff like this. And it makes them sad, like thinking about how like you're doing a better job at being Kris than they are themselves. So I mean, if something like that actually happened in the game, because again, my whole theory or hope is at one point in like a future chapter, like we, the soul, get separated from Kris at some point, and like we take control of the goner we made at the beginning of chapter 1, and like either like we have to convince Kris to take us back in, or we genuinely have a talk with them, because I mean, again, maybe it's just like me like wishing for more Delta Traveler, because again, I really love that fan game and I want more of it. But I love the idea of actually seeing Kris themselves interact with the world without our like interaction or our control. And I kind of want to see that in the actual game, outside of them, ripping us out and then play like creepy walking away to slash tires or eat pie or something like that.
Don't. Wait. Why is there a line of code here checking how long the name of my character is in the light world? This isn't a variable that changes. The main character in the light world is always named Kris. And even if it wasn't, why would you need to add question marks to the light world's menu screen if the name of the player character is 7 characters long or longer? Is this foretelling that we're going to be playing as a character in the light world other than Kris? Who? Let's see. More than 7 characters, so it can't be Asriel, or Ralsei, nor Susie, nor Lancer. And before you ask, no.
It's not Gaster.
Gaster is 6 letters long. This is literally the one and only mystery we have that cannot be answered with Gaster, and darn it, I'm going to keep it that way. It could still be him if we spell it like no. Let's see. Burger Pants, Jockington, Napstablook, Metaton, Papyrus. December? Oh, those last 3 actually fit the naming box like a glove. Okay everyone, place your bets now. Will the next playable character in the light world be Papyrus? December? Or is there an even better choice I haven't thought of yet? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hyperlink blocked.
Jeez, okay, wait a second. This video, you're only halfway through the video here. Huh. Okay, so thinking about it, I mean, again, talking about the theory, again, what I was talking about before, where, like, depending on your actions in game, you might unlock, like, other chapters. I was talking about before, like, the idea that Chapter 0 could potentially be, like a prequel chapter that once you've done everything, oh, you can go back and see how stuff started, like, potentially, like, it could be, the night Des disappeared, or like when Kris was really young and what caused us to take control of their body and stuff like that. But I mean, if it's like potentially, oh, Chapter 0 and we're actually like play as December, like, oh god, that would be weird. Because I don't think it'd be Papyrus in a Chapter 0. Because again, Sans and Papyrus seemingly just moved into town. Come on. Run the game without saving. Easy peasy. Wait, what? Beating the game without saving the game at all. What are the... Skip to Asgore, save point cutscenes. So, wait, this is literally just a playthrough? Okay, wait a second. I didn't know that's what this is going to be about. Okay, so is this going to be sped up? Because this is an entire playthrough of Undertale in 7 minutes. No, Toby, why? Oh, God, you can't skip this, can you? So slow, Flowey. Talk faster! Oh, okay. I didn't realize they just saved before you, or they healed before you saved. Interesting. Okay, I don't remember that. Aw. Skipping ahead a few hours, okay. And he's dead! Oh yeah, how? I just realized, yeah, I forgot that Flowey crashes your game. What happens then? It's kill or be killed. Ah! Please work. Yeah. They all disappeared without a trace. God, I remember seeing that for the first time. That was so freaky. Yeah, look, it's empty. Who knows why it's erased? It was already gone. Oh God, I remember how freaked out I was the first time I played this. So long. Yeah. Feel them wriggling. Hi. I can't imagine why. Over and over. Thinks I'm counting on it. Please don't make me start over. Separately saving the footage desperately. Ah, oh, God. I mean, what are you using to save the footage? I mean, I know Bandicam now has a thing where you can save corrupted MP3s and stuff like that. Uh-oh. Well, that's gonna happen. And you're never waking up. Oh, this brings back so many memories. And the game crashed. Okay, yeah. Don't get jump scared. Oh, God. Get back here and let me use your save file. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God, that is horrible. Ugh, fine. Oh, God, this is new sans dialogue for not having a save file. Okay. Weird. Yeah, but he hasn't saved, so I don't think they remember you at all. Oh, wow, just dodge. Oh, okay. Just dodging all of them. You can't! He hasn't used them yet! Or they haven't used them yet! You lack the power to do it. Huh. Okay, that's different. Interesting. Wait. What are you doing? Give me one now! Oh, God, that's beautiful. I love it. Oh, God, that was beautiful. Every second of it. So stupid, but I love it. Oh, God, this is why I would never do one of those, like, challenge runs. They get so stupid. Again, the possibility that, you know, Kris had a save file, and they're able to save in the light world. And the fact that, you know, potentially we're going to be able to save in Chapter 4 in the light world definitely does bring up some questions. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. But, yeah, that's going to be it. So, of course, as always, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.